in this region is being affected by, well, a shortage of nurses rather than a shortage of money. The MS Trust, it's based in Letchworth Garden City, and it provides information and psychological support for people with multiple sclerosis. It says specialist nurses are the main health professionals for sufferers, and it's launched a campaign to recruit more. Theo Chikamba reports.
Okay, so Jackie, I wanted to find out how you're doing since coming down from that medication.
She's one out of 2 specialist nurses who work at this multiple sclerosis therapy centre in Bedford. However, the demand for their service is growing, but there aren't enough specialist nurses to deal with it.
And there's a real postcode lottery in terms of the fact that some places are very well provided for, with great teams managing both people in the community and people in the acute hospitals, and some places there's an absolute lack with no MS nursing at all.
Shoulders back, squeeze your core.
Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune condition where the body decides to destroy some of the lining on nerve cells, which consequently affects most functions of the body. To try and provide more nurses who can give this type of specialist care, the MS Trust say they are training more nurses in the East to tackle the shortage.
Most of them say that it's their lifeline. If they didn't have a nurse, then they would end up going into the other services, such as A&E. They would have to visit their GP much more, and they would have to probably end up, being ping-ponged through the various services, but not having that holding hand with them as they go through their journey with their MS and all the things that they need along the way.
In 2007, what Helena thought were harmless everyday pains turned out to be symptoms of multiple sclerosis.
So fatigue, it can be sort of completely flooring. When people think fatigue, they think like, oh, we've been out, I was out last night, so therefore I'm tired. But this can be like, I went to bed at 8 o'clock and I woke up and I feel like I had been out all night, but I hadn't. And things like that can then impact on other things, like trying to work or trying to get the kids to school. You can get very grumpy and angry because you're just so tired all the time.
So in terms of the nurses that you go and see, they are specialists, of course. How much of a difference has that made to your life?
They're so on the case that they will email me, I'll go to an appointment, and because I'm on treatment they do all the monitoring, which is really important, but that is just such a small part of it, because you get asked things about your day-to-day life, and they will help coming up with solutions to the fatigue or sleeping problems.
Work here alongside volunteers and MS nurses continues, but as more people are signing up, they'll need more hands on deck to cater for everyone coming through the doors. Theo Chikamba, BBC Look East.
Well, let's talk about a few of these issues with our health correspondent Nikki Fox. Nikki, how much of a key role do charities play when it comes to this health support?
Well, I think the whole system is relying more and more on this kind of charity as the NHS focuses on key services and new treatments. We're living longer, and funding for services in the community just isn't keeping up with demand. But these charities, they can't live off fresh air. They get the majority of their funding from grants from people like the NHS, not fundraising. So if these grants are cut, it doesn't mean they can then continue to run these services.
So does it look like these grant cuts will continue?
Well, I think they will. I mean, the councils and the NHS are thinking all the time about what they can afford to provide. I was speaking to one council the other day who runs an award-winning falls prevention service. Now, that works. It keeps people out of hospital, but sadly, it's one of the things that it's thinking it might have to cut. Who picks up the pieces? Well, the charities, but some people say in order to do that, they need to be properly supported.
Thank you, Nikki.